everybody, it is Paige. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Vlogtober video. As you can see from some of the books over here, I am going to do some kind of like a book rec or a book review from all the books that I've read so far this year. Just keep in mind, I am a slow reader because I do work a lot. I'm traveling and everything, and I'm just generally a very slow reader. So in total, so far, as me filming this video right now, I've read 9 books. So let me just get into this video, and I'll go a little bit more details on what type of books that I would like to read, since by this time this video will be up, I will be already in the States going to New York. You guys are going to either already seen this video or going to see this video very soon of me heading to the States. But anywho, let's just get into this video, because the whole point of this video is me talking about my books. So yes. Starting off the year, I've read the second part of the book from the Priest series. So the second book is called Sinner, which is by Sarah Simon. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I preferred the first book out of the whole series. Let me just, to give a backstory, basically what it is of these books, it talks about the 3 brothers. So, and everything is very similar for each brother. Their sister committed suicide, basically, because the priest ate her, and she just felt so guilty, so she took her own life. And it just separated a lot of the family in there with their religion, and it took them a while to go back, or whatever, for whatever the reason is. But first, somehow they ended up falling in love, questioning about the religion and everything. And the Sinner talks about Sean Paul. Now, Sean Paul never went back to the religion when his sister died and everything. He was fully against the religion and everything, what nothing to do with that, until he fell in love with his best friend's sister, who is becoming a nun. And basically that was the whole thing. Does have smart, now the smart in it, I'm very okay with it. I enjoyed reading the smart and everything. But yes, the second book was okay, but nothing compare like the first book. Moving on to the third book of the series from the Priest is called Saint, again by the same author, Sarah Simon. Now I had to give this a 2 out of 5 stars. I was not into it at all. I felt like this story was very, very rushed. I feel like there was still very unquestionable questions that were still unanswered for me and everything. So basically in this part of the book is talking about Eden, who fell in love with one of his brother's best friend, Sean. So, and it is a gay relationship, so if you do not agree with that, I would not recommend this book just for that. But Eden was becoming a monk and everything, and he was still so in love with his brother's best friend and everything. But the story was weird, like the ending, like why he broke up with him in the first place, to get back, to go become a monk and everything. And then it just ended up leaving them to becoming the monk. I just did not like the story. It was not my favorite story at all. So hence why I had to give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. Then, my first ever 5 out of 5 star is The Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. So this is the 4th Ring series. That this book came out in January. And I read this over the summer because, again, I'm a very slow reader. But I did read this on my little Kindle book. I just moved my microphone, so sorry for that. I did read this on my Kindle because I was traveling to Spain, and everything was just a bit easier for me to read on my Kindle. And this was my 5 out of star series. That I just love it. And Rebecca 100% did this very well, leaving me questions on wanting to know what happened next and everything. Please do plot twist and my favorite fantasy book about dragons and everything. So yes, definitely one of my 5 out of 5 stars. This is my first ever book that I read from this author, which is called The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I also read this on my Kindle, and from everything that I read from reviews, everybody said that this was probably not the best book to read if you're reading by this author for the first time. But again, I read everything afterwards. But I was just so interested, like near the end of the book. This book is definitely more kind of like a thriller mystery situation going on. And near the end, I kind of knew who did it and everything. But I was just not expecting the ending on how everything ended and everything. So you do get two perspectives. So you get the perspective of Sydney and the perspective of her boyfriend. I want to believe the boyfriend is called Tom. So you get Tom's perspective on the past, and then when you go into talking about Sydney, you get the present on what's happening and everything. So this book was very, very interesting to me. I loved it. First time, again, this is my first time reading from her book, and everybody said from the reviews that this is not her best work, that this is not the author's best work and everything. So I have to read more other books from this author to see to see if I agree. But this book, in my heart, definitely one of the best thriller books I've read. And I'm that type of person where I either love it or I either hate it of the book. With that's other different genres that are on, like fantasies and stuff like that. So this is definitely 100% go. I was definitely 100% into the book. I'm moving on to the last book that I have physical on me, which is Automatic Habits by James Clear. Now, I did not read this book by hand. I played this book on Audible. And this is, okay, so for me personally, this book is a maybe. It depends what type of stage you are, what type of books you're enjoying and everything. And me listening to this book on Audible was, I think it helped me a lot better to get into this book than just sitting down and reading it physically or on my Kindle. And this book is just helped me very reflect on things and everything. So for self-help books, I give this a book a 5 out of 5, only because I am in a moment of my life that I need to change the habits and everything. And this book was very, very straightforward and said things that I need to hear and everything. One of the other books I also listened to Audible, which is called the subtitle. What is it called? Exactly, because I do not have the book physically on me. I've read the subtitle Art of Not Giving a F by Mark Manson, which is right here, if you guys can see it. I listened to this book on Audible again. I had to give this a 5 out of 5 because I'm also in the learning of not like I'm already at the step where I don't 100% care, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% and everything, and I need to be at 100% of not caring of what everybody thinks and everything. Moving on is, I do have another book, but I left it at France, I believe. And I do not have it on me, which is called Summer Suns by V. Madeleine, which is right here. I'm doing this because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able, but it's called Summer Suns by Lee Mindel. I had to give this a 1 out of 5 stars, and I had to put it down as do not my DNF list because I just could not get into it. I was so confused every time I was reading it, and it was going to first to third perspective. It was very confusing. The writing was just so bad for me and everything. I just could not finish it. Could not finish it. And then moving on, I think this is going to be my last book I read of this year, which is going to be, yeah, it is. The last book I read is called Variation by Rebecca Years. Now, this is my second book that I've ever read by from her that has nothing to do with her Fourth Ring series, because the Fourth Ring series is like actually my first book I ever read from her. And I guess the Fourth Ring series is her first ever fantasy book that she ever written. Other than that, she has written about kind of like love stories and everything. Oh yeah, there's also another book that I did. Okay, besides the point, I'm getting off topic. The Variation was such a good book. I loved the romance to it, and I can see that she's going to be my favorite author for the romance and everything, because I feel like it was 100%. So I had to give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. And then, last but not least, the last book I've read, officially last book that I've read for this year so far, is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Joel. Is now showing the picture of the book on my Kindle. But yeah, it's called Then She Was Gone, Lisa Joel. I did finish this book, but sadly I did not like the writing of it. So I had to give this book a 2 out of 5 star. I liked the idea of the story and everything, how it ended and everything, but I just did not like the writing. I think everything was all over the place, especially the beginning and everything. I felt like she sort of did, like, she was doing part 1, part 2, part 3. I feel like for each part, it should have been just one perspective. And there were limits where you had to figure out which perspective that you were on and everything. It was just very confusing. I did not like that when I'm reading in books. So yes. Now, let's talk a little bit on my TBR for this fall. So I'm not going to do anything harsh for and everything for this fall season, because I feel like this fall season is very short, and then I head back to work. So I head back to France on October 5th, 18th, and I don't start working until October 20th, and then sooner than later, it's going to feel like it's going to take forever, but it's going to be really quick until since our winter season hits, because our station opens on the 22nd or the 25th, I think. Around that where the station opens again for skiing and everything. But we are also going to get hit very, very hard for Christmas vacation, and that's when it's going to be like that every single day until the end of until April. So I'm just going to try to be very realistic, because I'm sure I'm not going to be able to finish all the series by the fall. But I literally just started reading the book. Hold on. I do not have the book on me. It's actually downstairs. But I started reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'm already 32% in. So I'm going to read that series. I just have to get the last book that she came out with. And another series that I would like to read that I just need to get my hands on, where I just truly just need to start reading the series, is the Avatar series. And those are going to be only the goals that I'm going to put aside. But there is a series that I would like to reread, because it's been forever, which I honestly got the series when I was in Amsterdam, because I didn't know what I did with the series back in the States, which is the Twilight series. So I have read Twilight, New Moon, and Eclipse. I never read Breaking Dawn, because everybody just kind of ruined it for me and everything and whatever. So I never got reading to Breaking Dawn. So I would like to enjoy reading that series again and everything, but we'll see, because I also have some series that back in France that I need to read and everything. So there are a lot of books on my TBR that I just truly need to start reading now. But yes, but at the moment I am going to read Pilot series, and I'm going to read the Avatar series for this fall season, and we'll see when I get back to the States, when I go book shopping, because I'm definitely going back to Barnes & Nobles, because I just renewed my premium card, so I can get every 10% off of the books every time I purchase something. So I know I'm going back to Barnes & Nobles and everything. But yes, but that is pretty much it of my book series and everything. If you guys enjoy, give this video a thumbs up, because it really helps out my channel. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!